What happens when glamour, power, and ego collide in the most unpredictable of settings? Imagine a world where Art Basel, an event meant to celebrate creativity and sophistication, suddenly spirals into a storm of family drama, chaos, and confrontation. At the center of it all stands Kris Jenner, the matriarch whose control has shaped the Kardashian-Jenner empire. But on this night, her patience snaps. The target of her fury, none other than Disick. What should have been an evening of prestige and art devolves into an explosive confrontation, and the spectacle left everyone stunned. This is the story of Kris Jenner exploding on Disick after Art Basel chaos. The night began under the dazzling glow of Miami's Art Basel. Celebrities, collectors, and critics filled the air with anticipation, their eyes drawn to canvases worth millions. It was supposed to be a showcase of refinement, yet behind the champagne flutes and whispered conversations lingered tension that had been simmering for years. Disick, often called the Lord in jest, but known for his unpredictable antics, had been weaving his own narrative into the fabric of this family. For Kris Jenner, the mother and mastermind, this was supposed to be controlled perfection. But control on this night was slipping. The chaos started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Scott arrived with his signature bravado, accompanied by a coterie of friends whose energy contrasted sharply with the carefully curated exclusivity of the event. Whispers ran through the gallery. Scott's presence was not unusual, but his attitude was different. Cameras followed as he made bold statements about art pieces, critiquing and mocking, drawing laughter from some and discomfort from others. For the Kardashian brand, which thrives on spectacle but fears unpredictability, this was dangerous. Kris Jenner's eyes, sharp and calculating, followed him across the room. Then came the moment that shifted the air. Disick orchestrated what some would later describe as a prank, others as a deliberate disruption. A piece of art, a striking installation surrounded by onlookers, became the centerpiece of his chaos. Whether intentional or accidental, his behavior around it sparked confusion. Guests gasped, security rushed in, and murmurs of scandal spread like wildfire. In the glittering world of Art Basel, reputation is everything, and in that instant, Kris Jenner saw hers teetering on the edge. The cameras caught her reaction in real time. Kris Jenner, usually the epitome of composure, strode forward. Her face, lit by the glare of camera flashes, was thunderous. Years of managing scandal, orchestrating damage control, and spinning chaos into gold had prepared her for almost anything. But this was different. This was personal. She saw not just Scott's actions, but the reflection of years of defiance, recklessness, and the reminder of her tenuous grip on him. Her voice cut through the crowd, sharp and commanding. Those who witnessed it recall the silence that fell as Kris Jenner exploded on Disick. Her words were laced with fury, her tone leaving no room for misinterpretation. She accused him of disrespect, not only to the family but to the event, to her brand, to the empire she had spent decades building. To Kris, Art Basel was more than just an art fair. It was a stage, and Scott had turned it into a circus. Scott, true to form, didn't shrink. His defense was quick, laced with sarcasm, mocking Kris's obsession with image and control. The tension escalated in front of a crowd that could hardly believe what they were witnessing. Phones captured every word, every glare, every gesture. The world would soon see Kris Jenner's explosion replayed millions of times across social media, dissected in headlines, and debated by fans and critics alike. The chaos of Art Basel became the chaos of the Kardashian-Jenner narrative itself, unpredictable, dramatic, and impossible to ignore. For the onlookers, it was more than family drama. It was a clash of two titans in their own right. Kris Jenner, the architect of celebrity, against Disick, the unfiltered wildcard who refused to be tamed. As the confrontation reached its height, security intervened. The atmosphere was electric, the kind of moment that transforms an art show into a spectacle. Some guests left shaking their heads, others with gleeful expressions knowing they had just witnessed history in the making. The art on the walls faded into the background, eclipsed by the raw performance of human emotion at its most unrestrained. In the aftermath, questions swirled. Was this chaos intentional? Was it another Kardashian storyline, carefully manufactured to dominate headlines? Or was it genuine, a glimpse into the cracks beneath the glossy surface of a family empire? What cannot be denied is that the explosion between Kris Jenner and Scott Disick at Art Basel became an iconic moment, one that captured the very essence of their dynamic. For Kris Jenner, control is survival. Every headline, every appearance, every storyline feeds into a machine she has meticulously engineered. Scott Disick, however, thrives on chaos, on testing boundaries, on turning the expected into the absurd. Their collision was inevitable, but Art Basel provided the perfect backdrop. High society clashed with reality television, refinement clashed with recklessness, and a matriarch clashed with her most defiant surrogate son. In the days that followed, the fallout was as dramatic as the event itself. Tabloids plastered Kris Jenner's fury across front pages. Clips of Scott's smirking retorts went viral, igniting debates about respect, loyalty, and family power struggles. Analysts dissected every second of the confrontation, while fans took sides in an online war. Some called Kris's explosion justified, a defense of dignity. Others saw Scott as the rebel who dared to challenge the empire from within. What remains undeniable is the symbolic weight of that night. At Art Basel, art became a metaphor for life itself, fragile, beautiful, chaotic, and sometimes destroyed in moments of human weakness. Kris Jenner's explosion was not just about one man's antics. It was about years of tension, unresolved conflicts, and the fragile balance of power in a family that lives under constant scrutiny. The documentary lens reveals something deeper. Behind the fury there was fear. Fear of losing control, fear of cracks spreading through the empire, fear of being defined not by the narrative Kris wrote but by the chaos Scott created. And for Scott, behind the bravado, there was something else. Perhaps a craving for relevance, a need to remind the world that he, too, is part of this legacy, no matter how much Kris might wish otherwise. As the lights dimmed on Art Basel and the crowds dispersed, the echoes of Kris Jenner's explosion lingered. It wasn't just a moment of anger. It was a battle cry in an ongoing war between order and chaos, control and rebellion, image and authenticity. For those who were there, it was unforgettable. For those who watched from afar, it was another chapter in the saga of a family whose drama has become as compelling as any art on display. And so, the story of Kris Jenner exploding on Scott Disick after Art Basel chaos becomes more than gossip. It becomes a reflection of the human condition, the struggle for control, the defiance of rebellion, and the spectacle of conflict that, in its own way, is as timeless as the art that hung on those walls.